Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Shelburne Municipal Election Forum. I'm Pete Renshaw, I'm Chair of the Dufferin Board of Trade. This evening's forum was organized by the Board of Trade, which is a membership organization that champions a robust voice for business in Dufferin County. We're proud to continue the tradition of hosting election forums with the candidates seeking election in Dufferin County. As advertised, this is an information forum, not a debate. And I'd like to start by thanking the candidates for putting their names forward to represent the people of Shelburne. I'd also like to thank each of you in the audience for being here to discuss the challenges and opportunities that lay ahead for this great community. Thank you also to the Dufferin Federation of Agriculture for their support for this event, and also to our local media partners for their continued support and promoting. Joining me on stage are the candidates seeking election to Shelburne's Town Council. Candidates have joined me on stage in alphabetical order. Each candidate has a prepared 3-minute statement, and this will take about 30 minutes, and that'll allow another 30 minutes in the lobby or in the council chambers to ask any questions of the candidates once they've finished speaking. And like I say, each one has prepared a 3-minute statement, and when time begins, candidates will see the green light. For the timekeeper, with 30 seconds remaining, candidates will see a yellow light, and at the 3-minute mark, the red light goes on, and then you'll also hear this chime signaling that time is up. So we'll hear from first from the future mayor of Shelburne, followed by the 2 deputy mayor candidates, and then the council candidates in alphabetical order. So we'll begin with remarks from Wade Mills.
Thank you, Pete, and thank you to everybody who took time out of your busy schedules to come out tonight, and thanks again to the sponsors for hosting this. It's always encouraging when you see active members of the community who are tapped in and engaged in the process. As Pete kind of alluded to, I'm in a bit of a unique position tonight because I've been acclaimed to my position, so I'm not here like the rest of the candidates asking for your votes. But I am here tonight to have some conversations and talk about some of the ideas and thoughts that I have for moving Shelburne forward and helping to create a more livable, sustainable, and prosperous community for the future. More importantly than that, though, what I'm here for is to listen to the ideas that you have. I certainly don't profess to have all of the answers myself. And it's forums like this where candidates and elected officials have an opportunity to really engage with people and get a sense of what's foremost in your minds. You've got a lot of choice here tonight, so even though my position's acclaimed, we have 11 very worthy candidates on this stage, 9 of them running for 5 council spots, and of course 2 running for deputy mayor. So I'm sure some of you may have come here tonight with some ideas already as to who you may or may not vote for, and some of you may have no idea yet. Regardless of how you walked in tonight, I hope that you give each of the 11 an equal shot to gain your support as you're listening to their speeches and afterwards as you're talking with them one-on-one. Ask yourself which candidate most closely aligns with your own ideas and visions and aspirations for our town. Which candidate has the personal qualities and the skill sets that you think are going to be required to effectively fulfill their duties for the offices they're seeking. And in closing, I just honestly want to thank the 11 people that are up here, because regardless of whether you agree with them or not, believe me, it takes an awful lot of courage to put your name forward and put your name on a ballot and stand for election. So without exception, these 11 people all deserve our respect and admiration for being here, because without them, our system simply wouldn't work. So thank you. And finally, but again, I just want to thank everybody for coming out. And please do make sure that you exercise your franchise and that you get out and vote. It is a telephone and online system this year, so if you have any questions, try to flag me down after the speeches, and I'll try to walk you through the process as best I can. So take care, hope everybody learns lots, and we'll see you in the future.
Thanks very much, Wade. I'd like to now call Steve Anderson, a deputy mayor candidate.
Thank you, Pete. I want to take this opportunity before I begin to thank our mayor-elect for his warm remarks. I certainly want to thank the Board of Trade for the opportunity to share our respective vision for the town of Shelburne. And of course, I want to thank all of you for your attendance this evening and for your engagement. As you heard, I'm Councillor Steve Anderson. That you know. What you may not know is that I'm a proud father of two, and I'm a practicing lawyer. And just last week, I celebrated my 15th year. And I want to tell you that as a litigation lawyer with the largest transportation company in all of Canada, that role requires one that is a strong and confident advocate, one who's a strong negotiator, and one who's able to work with experts and other professionals, always keeping in mind the best interest of the clients that we serve. And I'd like to believe that I brought that same skill set to the role of counsel, yielding positive results for all of our residents. And it's my commitment to bring that same skill set to the role of deputy mayor with your support, especially at the county level where strong advocacy is expected and is deserved. I believe, as the role of deputy mayor, that it's important that one have the ability to form very strong relationships with our community partners. And with that, I'll talk briefly about my platform in the time that I have remaining. So number one, what's important to me after listening to many of you on the campaign trail is when it comes to our first responders, our police and fire in particular, I believe firmly that we should be exhausting every avenue, every option to ensure that we keep our local responders right here in the town of Shelburne. And I'll say to you that I've taken the initiative already to speak with our police chief, our fire chief, not only to listen to the issues and concerns, but to, more importantly, talk about resolutions to those issues and concerns. And I look forward to continuing those conversations in the future. When it comes to healthcare, I certainly believe that our residents, as the fastest growing town in Ontario, deserve greater access to community programming, facilities, and equipment right here in the town of Shelburne. And I've recently spoke to Headwaters President and CEO Stacey Dobb, who I'll be working with on this initiative, obviously with council as well. And she's recently agreed to have a town hall event right here in the town of Shelburne, where she will share her vision with the town, and the residents here will have an opportunity to share their concerns and their issues with her as well. With respect to recreation, I firmly believe that we need to be providing recreation opportunities for our seniors and for our youth. And I hope that you have an opportunity to visit my platform at www.shelburne.com. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve. I'd like to ask Dan Sample, also deputy mayor candidate.
Thanks for everybody for coming tonight. It's really good to see everybody out. As everybody knows, I'm Dan Sample and I'm running for deputy mayor. You may not know me, but eventually you will. I've lived in Dufferin County most of my life, settling in Shelburne in 2012 with my wife and kids. I feel, as you probably do too, that it is a great community to raise our children. I'm retired from Honda Canadian Manufacturing after a 30-year career. I quickly moved up the ladder from team leader to production coordinator to eventually leading projects to standardize North American plants. During this time, I acquired many skills to help me in my position on town council: leadership training, effective listening, analytical problem solving, just to name a few that I gained from there. I'm a hard worker, quick thinker, and factual decision maker. I'm grateful and humbled to be elected 4 years ago. I'm proud of the work that we have accomplished, and I know we're not finished yet. We have more to do, and we're all in this together. A very close friend of mine, Councillor Tom Egan, he told me after I was elected, the key to being a great councillor is to listen to the people. I've stayed true to that. I've made myself available anytime anybody's had an issue. I've come out to their homes, I've been in the streets, I've been in the parks, I've been in the schools. wherever I can be. I'm very involved in the community. I've chaired many committees and boards. Center Dufferin Recreation Complex, Street Festival, Canada Day, Hometown Heroes, Heritage Music Festival, just to name a few. I've also volunteered in the community, executive board member of the Shelburne Soccer Club, Shelburne Minor Ball, president of this curling club, Legion member and volunteer, executive board member of the Shelburne Kinsman Club, or just to name a few that I've been involved in. I've worked closely with the town on the advanced green issue at 89 and 124, which now has been approved. We're just waiting for it to be done. I made suggestions to council to install new signs at our parks, at our local parks. The new lights at Fiddle Park and Highway 10, the timing was adjusted to accommodate better traffic flow. There was much more that I can go on, but we don't need to hear all that stuff. I will continue to work on improving infrastructure, sewage, water, roads, traffic safety, and of course police and fire are high on the list. With development already scheduled, the town is to reach 10,000 population in the next 4 years. That magic number will bring commercial properties, jobs will come, all that will be here. As deputy mayor, we need a voice at the county level. Over the past 4 years, I've learned a lot being in council, and I know we can continue. Hope for your vote. Thank you.
Thank you, Dan. And now we'll begin with the council candidates. McCall Archer.
Good evening. Thank you, Dufferin Board of Trade, for hosting tonight's meet and greet and giving me the opportunity to introduce myself as well as my platform to my fellow residents. And I'd like to thank the residents for taking the time to attend and show your support. Finally, I'd like to thank my wife, without whose support I wouldn't be standing here. My name is McCall Archer, and as you heard, I'm a candidate for town council. I'm an avid believer in service to others, and as such, I've dedicated most of my life to this cause. From participation in local charity events to feeding the homeless across various communities to global initiatives in underdeveloped countries. I have a healthcare and financial educational background, coupled with professional experience working in and with various levels of the corporate world, which includes but not limited to all aspects of fiscal budgeting, project management, business and asset management, and team building, to name a few. Known to many as for my objectivity, I can be counted on for a fresh perspective to various problems. I decided to run for council as a means to better serve our community. My reason for running is simple: to represent you, the people of Shelburne, to provide an objective voice on council, and to preserve our town's best interests. Simply, I just want to serve our community. I think it's safe to say that every candidate and you, the residents here, recognize the same concerns that our town has, such as our infrastructure and downtown congestion. But what will separate us is how we approach the problems and concerns and basically bring these concerns to a resolution. My approach, again, is simple. In consideration and in consultation with you, the people of Shelburne, I will explore all facts and take a balanced approach to every problem. I bring fresh perspective over 15 years of corporate experience, half of which involves prudent budgeting, which resulted in millions in savings, as well as a healthy increase in revenue year over year. I intend to apply the same prudence and diligence when elected to council. I am committed to the following. I am committed to physical wellness with a focus on our current recreational facilities for better accessibility, availability, overall better promotion to ensure more usage of the resources that we already have. I am committed to social wellness by devising strategies that will create awareness of events and local businesses in order to foster a stronger sense of community. I am committed to environmental wellness within our community to preserve our green spaces. I am committed to occupational wellness, which will focus on greater accessibility and resources to job seekers and employers alike. I am committed to financial wellness through capitalization of federal and provincial initiatives that would bring Shelburne, or that would see Shelburne as an example to small towns regarding budgeting and execution of viable financial plans that is in line with our growing town. I am committed to accessibility and inclusion within our community. I am committed to spiritual wellness in support of initiatives Thank you.
Thank you, Mikhail. Walter Donato.
I'd like to thank the Dufferin Board of Trade and all of you for attending tonight's meeting. I've lived in town for the last 35 years. My wife Anna and I have 2 grown boys, Michael and Daniel. I went to school in Melanchthon in a one-room school, believe it or not, in Centennial Highlands, Senator Dufferin High School, and graduated of Shelburne College as an electronics technologist. I've been vice chair of both Highland Heights and Senator Dufferin High School Parent Council. I served as an executive on minor hockey, lacrosse. I coached soccer, baseball, as well as rep and umpired in both. I have been a councillor for 19 years, and I am the only incumbent that's currently running for councillor position. I hope to bring my experience back onto council. I have served on the following committees and boards: Budget, Heritage, Library, and Senator Dufferin Rec. And I currently serve on the following committees and boards: Economic Committee, Public Works, Accessibility, Nottawasaga Valley Conservation Authority, which I was a past chair, Provincial Offenses, and the Shelburne Fire Department, which I am the current chair. We need to promote more our arts and culture, make more use of our Grace Dipplin Hall, Jack Downing Park, Fiddle Park, and our artists. How do we do that? We could hire a person on commission with experience to bring more events and promote all of them, as well as our artists. Collingwood used this method to promote their Elvis Festival and their artists, so that's an example. We do need a bypass in this town to remove the amount of truck traffic and heavy weekend traffic that we have. And I've been trying to promote this for the last 15 years to MTO to get this done. We also need an advanced green at Main and Owen Sound to better move the traffic that gets stacked up. There's a possibility of partnering with our county to the north, Gray, for a bus to move people to Orangeville for work. And we do need some form of an internal bus to move people to shopping as time goes on. We need more accessible playground equipment. We need homes for our seniors, and and those with needs. We need more condos as well for seniors with porches on the front. We need to continue with our master park plan. More trails, dog parks, splash pads, more activities for our seniors and young adults, such as tennis courts, basketball courts, and simple things of that nature there. Need to manage both our growth and infrastructure, sidewalks, pipes, roads. Both our police and fire departments are at capacity. We need to make sure we have balanced growth between our commercial, industrial, and residential. I have been walking around town and listening to people. So on October 22nd, I ask for your vote.
Thank you, Walter. Linda Buffett.
I'd like to thank the Dufferin Board of Trade for hosting the forum tonight, and also thank all the residents for coming out tonight, because Shelburne is facing some major financial challenges. Challenges that seriously impact your taxes and your quality of life. My decision to run again was driven in part by the town's decision or desire to look at selling Fiddle Park, and more specifically, to try to find a solution to the town's looming financial challenges. I decided to run because I believe that my previous outside municipal council experience in many ways can help me better serve the needs of our growing community. And why do I believe this? Because I've dealt with all of these very same issues of unprecedented growth prior to moving to Shelburne. Clearly, what is needed now is a set of new goals and priorities to manage all of these growth-related issues, because growth does not pay for itself. If we can establish a new strategic plan, this will give council and the community a roadmap to follow for the next term of council and beyond. In preparing this, we will have to ask ourselves as a community a number of questions, which I think are some of the important issues facing us. Number one, how will the town pay for the major infrastructure needs because of so much growth? Number two, can we afford to provide more recreational services to meet and enhance our quality of life? Number 3, how do we attract more jobs and balance our commercial industrial tax base to offset increasing taxes for residents? Number 4, can we as a town initiate a made-in-Dufferin solution to the long-standing issue of a truck bypass? Or should we just keep waiting another 20 years for a provincial bypass? 5, where will the millions of dollars come from now to pay for a new police station while we deal with growth-related policing issues and concerns today? And number 6, what type of redevelopment can we encourage to enhance the downtown, making our use of the existing infrastructure in order to create a vibrant and successful downtown? And 7, how do we provide more affordable housing alternatives for residents who are downsizing, who want to stay living in Shelburne, or for young families who want to be able to afford their first home? These questions and so many others need to be discussed in an open public forum as part of establishing this new strategic plan. I have always believed that you can't wait for things to happen, but instead you must make things happen. So it is my hope that with your support, I can be part of the solution to all of these challenges that we are facing today. Thank you.
Thank you, Linda. Althea C. Casamento.
Hello everyone, my name is Althea Casamento. I am pleased to announce my candidacy for the position of Shelburne Town Councillor. Thank you very much for coming out this evening and for allowing me the opportunity to share a bit about myself and my platform. For those of you who don't know me, I'm a mom of 2, a business owner here in town, and a member of the Dufferin Board of Trade. My professional background is very diverse. I've studied business and human resources, focusing on policies, procedures, training, health and safety, and recruitment. I've also spent a number of years studying photography. I'm someone who loves to be involved in my community, spearheading and assisting with many fundraising initiatives for some of our much-needed programs and services, such as the Breakfast Program, Family Transition Place, and Carrie's Autism Services. I love to participate in committees and events, such as being Vice Chair for the Fiddle Parade and being a Director for the Fair Board. I've brought forth proposals and suggestions to our current council on issues and events that will benefit us as a community. I also follow and attend council meetings regularly. Shelburne has seen tremendous growth within a few years. We're at a pivotal point right now, and over the next few years, many difficult decisions will need to be made. Shelburne will continue to grow, and we will need a council that will be representative of us as a community to be our voice. It's important that we grow our standards, strategies, and approaches as we grow. As councillor, I will ensure that your concerns are being tabled for discussion and will work with the other council members to do what is best for our community. This is our town, and if you vote for me, I will be your voice on topics that impact us as a community. Topics such as supporting local businesses and entrepreneurs, job creation, managing growth, supporting heritage and cultural-based programs and celebrations, supporting recreational facilities and programs for our community, and supporting school programs and initiatives. If you have any questions or would like more information about my platform or myself, please feel free to come by my table and say hello and have a chat with me. Thank you very much for your time this evening.
Thank you, Althea. Kyle Fagan.
Thank you everyone for being here. Thank you to the Board of Trade for having this forum for us to have an opportunity to speak to everybody as well. A lot of you may not know me yet, but my name is Kyle Fegan and I am running for the position of Town Councillor for Shelburne. I've been a resident of this town now for the last 10 years and I've watched the town grow significantly in the last few. We've obviously experienced some significant population growth that has really put us on top of the Ontario platform. I operate 2 businesses in town. The first one is Impact Creative, an advertising marketing agency that's been in business now for the last 12 years. This year I've just opened up the Impact Martial Arts, which is a judo dojo operating out of the Trainer Games Fitness Center as well. My main focus that I'd like to concentrate on is that at this point it's very imperative that we focus on our commercial, our industrial, and our retail sector. Because of the population growth we've experienced, these sectors haven't kept pace. We need to make sure that we bring those in that are going to keep the population focused. As a father of 3 young boys and the head instructor at the Judo Dojo, I also have a focus for our youth. We need to engage them and get them involved. We need to give them some things to do in this town. I'm already working on with a few individuals to put together a couple of initiatives that we've envisioned, but I'd also like to talk with the CDRC about what they're offering and what other initiatives we could possibly use there as well to potentially use those facilities more fully. I'd like to see more events and programs run out of the Fiddle Park as well. It's a very valued but underutilized amenity that we have in this town, and that park has a huge potential to be a real tourism draw that we're really not focusing on at this point. I'd like to see that change. In regards to our services and infrastructure, I am concerned with the population growth, as I've mentioned. I know that our water treatment facilities have been approved by our building department to be able to handle the new subdivisions that are coming under construction, but how close are we coming to capacity at that? We need to concentrate on our police services, our fire department as well. Both of those need to be updated and maintained to keep pace with the population growth we've had as well. These services are obviously essential for the growth of our town. The next 4 years will determine the landscape and the vision of how Shelburne will look, not only in the next few years, but many years down the road as well. And these decisions that need to be made won't be easy ones. We've got a lot of work ahead of us that will take all of us working together, but I do feel that the future is promising. I do feel that we have many opportunities before us that, if navigated wisely, we will not only benefit, but will also prosper our wonderful town. I look forward to the opportunity to serve this community in a greater capacity, and with your vote, I hope to serve you all well. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Kyle. Len Gucciardi.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you very much for coming out and listening. My name is Len Gucciardi. I'm running for a position on Town Council for the Town of Shelburne. For those of you who don't know me, I was born and raised here. I've lived in this community for 57 years. I've been a high school teacher for 20 years, and my father was born and raised here. My grandfather came here when he was 17 and had 8 kids with my grandmother. Quite simply, on my platform, people have asked me about what my concerns are. First and foremost, infrastructure. We need to start looking 15, 20 years down the road for growth, not 5, not 2. We need to look long term. I say yes to a bypass for this community. I say yes to a rec center for this community. And I say no to contracting out our police services to the OPP. I really truly believe that we need to ask more from our developers. The developer comes into this town, we need to hold them accountable and ask about how many low-income housing units they're going to put into that community. How many seniors bungalows are they going to put into that community? And how much they're going to contribute to the community beyond just a small green space with a couple of slides and a swing set. I really think that we need to ask them, are they willing to contribute to a new police cruiser? Because their growth is going to be our growth. I really think we need to address and ask for them to contribute to a fund for recreation for the community. A vote for me is a vote for transparency. I'm pretty straightforward and honest, and I come to you as a transparent individual and an accountable person, and I'm asking for your support in this election. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Len. Shane Hall.
First and foremost, I want to thank you all for coming out tonight. I also appreciate the Dufferin Board of Trade as well as the fellow sponsors providing us this opportunity for you to get to know us, even if it's only for a few hours. My name is Shane Hall, and I will give you a little bit of background on who I am and what I believe, at least in the next term, which is important for Shelburne. I've lived in Shelburne basically since the age of 16. My father urgent needs. And again, thank you very much.
Thank you, Shane. I'd like to call on James Hodder.
I'd like to thank the organizers for this evening and give me the opportunity to address you directly about what I am trying to do as a candidate for council in Shelburne. I grew up in a small town of Arnprior. It very much like Shelburne. It had the same kinds of problems, but during those years of adolescence and childhood, I was encouraged by many people who thought that it was a great thing to encourage people to do better and go far. And I've reached the stage of my life where I think it's time for me to do the same. And I hope that by running for council, I'll be able to take that role of leadership and bring this town to a new level. Growth has been a great boon to this town in the last little while, but I have a feeling too that without a little bit of a pause every now and again, we don't know how to run with our feet because they've grown faster than we have. And I think that there might be a time to consolidate that growth and look at what we can do to help integrate all these new people who have come to town and make this town their home for how many more years that they'll be here. And I think that if we plan to integrate these people, make them feel welcome, and give them the best opportunities possible in this town, we'll see great things from everyone who lives here. I've lived in Shelburne for about 8 years now. I moved here with my wife Joan, who has encouraged me and helped me greatly in this campaign so far, and I'd like to thank her very much for what she's done so far. Now, in terms of what I see in the immediate future, and it's been mentioned by several of the candidates already, we have a problem with our traffic. And I'll work as a councillor, if you elect me, to see what we can do to try and reduce the amount of diesel traffic through our town. And it might be interesting for you to know that there are cities in Europe who have decided that they don't want diesel trucks passing through their town anymore. The pollution from the diesel traffic is not good for our health. And what we should do is try and bypass that kind of traffic out of the town so that we don't have to breathe the pollutants that these trucks produce. And I think also we have to face that we've got a police service. The question has come up, are we going to keep it or are we going to farm it out to the OPP? And I don't know what the answer is. I don't even know what the answer is to anything that I might talk to you about tonight. But I'm here to tell you that I'll give it my best shot, give it the analytical thought that we need for making the best kind of a solution. And I want to emphasize too that if any decision is made, it will be based on compassion as well as the objective facts of the issue. And finally, I don't have much time to say much more, but finally I'd like to thank you again for coming out. And if you vote for me, I'll certainly work for you. Thank you.
Thank you, James. Lindsay Wagoner.
Thank you everyone for coming out tonight. My name is Lindsay Wagoner and I am seeking a seat as your municipal councillor. I have been a resident of Shelburne for 15 years now and have watched it grow from a population of about 4,200 to a community close to 10,000. With that growth, I have seen challenges and triumphs. Over my years as a community member, I have been very active in volunteering, having joined the Fall Fair Board, where I was also the Homecraft President for 3 years and currently sit as a board member. Joining the Street Festival Committee, where I host the Soapbox Derby. Joining and assumed responsibility of the Junior Schooners Little League. Becoming a Brownie leader for our Shelburne First Brownie unit. And hosting or participating in numerous fundraising charity events, such as the Shelburne Easter Egg Hunt, Canada Day, Heritage Music Festival, the Santa Claus Parade, and currently Savor Shelburne and Treats in the Streets. I believe community involvement is key to providing our town a place they are proud to call home. As your councillor, I will work not only to continue this path, but to improve on it. I feel a stronger partnership with community service groups, the BIA and the CDRC will greatly benefit us all. I will make one true promise to you, the community, and that is to listen to your concerns, wants, needs, and vision for Shelburne, because a strong leadership comes not only from what I believe to be the answers, but by taking your opinions, the people of Shelburne, and applying it. During this campaign, I'm taking a step away from traditional promises political figures make, and instead I'm asking you the questions for your vision of what Shelburne's future should be. By doing this, I can better plan to tackle the issues at hand, such as housing, both for growth and our seniors, industry for employment for our community, infrastructure such as roads, water, and sewer, traffic concerns such as congestion and speeding, activities for our youth, and keeping our town safe with police, fire, and paramedics. There will be many challenges faced ahead. With the help of fellow elected council members, I believe we can make a difference, a positive, responsible change with strong grounded roots to our history and our heritage. Thank you.
Thanks, Lindsay. That concludes tonight's forum on behalf of the Dufferin Board of Trade. I'd like to thank all of the candidates for being here tonight to meet Shelburne voters. And I remind the audience that they'll be here for another 30 minutes if you want to ask any questions or respond to important issues ahead of the election. For more information on all your Shelburne candidates in the fall municipal elections, I encourage you to visit dufferinbot.ca/elections. The 2018 municipal elections will be held October 22nd. Please be sure to get out and vote. Thank you, and a safe trip home.